Welcome back to Cartoon Universe. My name's Deepcut, and last night we got a little bit of an info leak about the new episode of Steven Universe Future. If you haven't seen my last video, the first 4 out of the first 10 episodes had their titles dropped, and there was a lot to speculate about. Now we have 2 more titles, but it's a little bit harder to say what's going on, but we're gonna go ahead and try. On Friday, March 20th, episode 15 and 16 will air, and the titles will be Mr. Universe and Fragments. While Greg has been around, he hasn't had very much focus, and the episode Mr. Universe will almost definitely fix that. We were able to piece together that Steven proposes to Connie in an upcoming episode titled Together Forever, and I think that after the fallout of that, Steven might want to spend some time with his father and get some advice about life. Ultimately, I think Steven won't be getting the comfort he's seeking though. Greg's advice, like most reasonable people, will be about how it's okay that these things end and that it's time to move forward. But like most teenagers, Steven isn't going to want to hear that. His reaction could be full pink Steven mode, and his destructive powers could put Greg in danger. However, I think there are 2 alternate directions this episode could go as well. The title, Mr. Universe, seems to indicate that this will have something to do with his music career. Sadie Killer and the Suspects were managed by him, so now his industry connections are strong. Since they're breaking up and his music was popularized by them, he may want to pursue a solo career and be out of Beach City for a while. This would be another person seemingly abandoning Steven, which could cause him to go pink mode again, possibly putting Greg's life in danger. My final theory is that this will be addressing Greg's responsibility for Steven's current state. In most children's shows, we see kids running off on adventures that would leave them with severe trauma in real life, with the parents being okay with this. In the context of a kid's show, this isn't a bad thing. We don't need to be bound by realism. But Steven Universe Future seems to be subverting that trope by showing how the events of the first 5 seasons have left him with PTSD. Through this more realistic lens, Greg has to be held accountable to some degree. He let his little kid decide that he was going to go into space and fight alien tyrants. Sure, his kid was half alien himself, but he was letting him do some pretty serious stuff when examined realistically, and this episode could be about Steven getting mad at his father for letting all of this happen to him. The next episode, Fragments, is a bit of a mystery. One thing I have noticed is that Garnet hasn't had an actual episode yet. Lapis had one where she meets the evil twins, Amethyst had one in Guidance where it shows she's been helping Gems adjust to life on Earth, and Pearl had an epic one where she fused with volleyball, with Bismuth having one coming very soon, but Garnet has basically been a background character. I like to think that Fragments refers to her being unfused and dealing with any leftover issues that Ruby and Sapphire have from the previous seasons, but that is just wishful thinking so far. It's actually really hard to say what's going on in this episode. The titles are unfortunately a lot less easy to analyze than the first 4 were. The episode In Dreams had so many obvious shots from the trailer that were connected to it, so we were able to figure out the premise even if we couldn't figure out how it ends. Bismuth Casual was obviously going to be about Bismuth, and there were a lot of directions that could go. From being a casual episode that helps us to get to know her better, to filling in the backstory between her and Lapis during the Gem War, or even just explaining how she poofed and reformed to get this new outfit. We were able to put together pretty much the entire plot for Together Forever using just previous episode titles in this one shot where it looks like Steven was proposing to Connie from the trailer, and things go horribly wrong. Growing Pains was really vague, but even that, we had a lot to talk about just based off of the context of the entire show. But this new episode, Fragments, really doesn't seem to give us any real hints of what to expect. With these 2 episode titles leaking out, that leaves only 4 left. They may each be their own standalone episode with their own titles, like a traditional Steven Bomb, or they might be bundled up as one hour-long episode like they did for Change Your Mind. This is the series finale after all. Either way, I'm certain we'll be getting more news soon, and when we do, we'll be here to break it down for you, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.